Greetings, family. Dr. David Roots, the Roots Chemist, coming to you again with another teaching in the series that I'm doing about Rastafari and Rastafari way of life, or as we'd say, Rastafari liberty. So the title of this video is Vegan is not Rastafari Ital, or Ital and vegan are not the same thing. Okay, a controversial topic. Hopefully I put it a bit controversial so that maybe it can incite some people to listen to the wisdom and to the teaching, because it's 2019 right now, the making of this video. I'm not sure when you might watch it, but vegan lifestyle, plant-based diet, vegan eating is a huge topic right now, and it's a huge media-driven sensation right now. Lots of people are moving that way. And it has to be said that those within Rastafari, especially the ancient ones, which came out of the 60s and the 70s, okay, were promoting a similar concept, what was called Ital, from way back when. But the two have some very distinct differences, and I needed to point that out because there are a lot of the young people that might be heading towards a plant-based diet and a vegan lifestyle, particularly those that also might be looking into Rasta and Rastafari teaching and the Rastafari way of life. And it needs to be clear from those that know, those that are within the roots of the understanding of Rastafari, that there is some clear differences between the two. Okay? There is synergy, and this is not a personal attack or anything like that. I support plant-based diet. I'm a vegan myself. I support the whole movement towards veganism. But I just wanted to point out some of the important understandings of what Rastafari mean when they say Ital, liberty, compared to what is referred to as vegan and plant-based diet lifestyle. Okay, so let's first look at the word Ital. Ital comes from the word vital. Okay, so the elders within Rastafari believed in, or not even believed, they understood that words make sounds and sounds have power. And so instead of using the word vital, they put the I as an emphasis, because Rastafari emphasizes I, and so they say Ital meaning vital, things that are vital for our health, vital for our mind, body, and soul. And so in terms of the way that Rastafari lived their life, they lived their life and they strive to live their life in an Ital format, okay, which is those things that are natural, all right, those things that give you life. Okay, so Rastafari Ital is not just a plant-based lifestyle, it's a life-based lifestyle. Okay, because it went beyond the whole concept of plant-based, it went towards life over death. So the elders within that time, as they taught to avoid those things that might lead away from life. Okay, in particular, for example, it wasn't just about eating or not eating things that were flesh, but it was also about making sure that the way that you cooked and the things that you cooked or ate with also formed a healthy based lifestyle, almost more synergistic to what we might now call holistic health. Is closer to the concept of the Ital lifestyle. So some really specific examples: the Rastafari elders would abstain from salt. Okay, a lot of the Rastafari elders at that time, especially, this is before, you have to imagine, before the information age, before the advent of the internet. They had access to books, of course, and different information, but a lot of it came from within as well as through the biblical knowledge, which is where they accessed a lot of the information. So salt was one of the things that they tended to abstain from. okay? Within their wisdom, they knew that salt would basically end up leading to illness, to disease, and so they abstained from that. Of course, they abstained from flesh, but as well as the way that people cooked and ate their foods was important within the Ital lifestyle. So they avoided things like metal containers and metal pots, all right, and tried to cook with more, at that time, iron-based pots, not aluminium, and even some went as far as cooking with clay cook pots. So this shows you the depth and the deepness of what Ital actually refers to. It goes way beyond the whole idea of plant-based or vegan. It's a lifestyle that promotes things towards embodying life in the things that you eat, as well as the things that you do, as well as your mindset. Okay, so let's quickly look at vegan and what the vegan lifestyle, plant-based lifestyle is about. Now, the foundations of the vegan lifestyle, mostly when you look at the history of veganism, was mostly within the West from a health perspective. So people abstaining from the eating of meat because they wanted to be healthy, and the research backs that up, okay? That those who consume more meat are exposed to more disease of the body compared to those who eat less meat. Okay, so from a health-based perspective, the vegan lifestyle has been shown to be better for people, hence why a lot of people are adopting the vegan plant-based lifestyle. But there's also other aspects of the vegan lifestyle that are important to people and what has made people turn that way. Okay, so also you have a group of people who go towards vegan eating because of the compassionate argument. So having compassion for living things, in particular for animals, things that have a face, things that can breathe, things that have ears, and not wanting to participate in the killing of those living beings, those animals, especially in the context of the worldwide factory-driven mass murder or killing of these animals to support the meat-based industry. So as information has spread, people have taken cameras into places like the dairy farms, into places like the slaughterhouses. They've seen the conditions that a lot of these animals are not only being killed under, but also are being living under. And that's made a lot of people turn towards the plant-based vegan lifestyle as well. So you have first the health argument towards having a vegan lifestyle, and then you have now the compassionate argument. Both of them are very powerful, okay? Things that I subscribe to myself. And of recent, within I would say probably the past 5 years, although scientists have known about this, but within the past year it's been particularly important in the media, has been the environmental concerns and how consumption of meat is contributing to things like climate change due to the impact that the large dairy and meat farms have on the environment. Some of those things relate to the production of greenhouse gases, in this case methane, by the cattle, but as well as the deforestation that takes place due to trying to sustain the large amounts of cattle that are needed to keep up with the demand for meat. So you have three types of reasons that people are turning towards the vegan lifestyle. One is the health-based argument. Two is the compassionate for animals, for living things argument. And three now, in more contemporary times, is the environmental argument. All very powerful reasons that one should look towards the vegan lifestyle as a holistic, positive lifestyle for the 21st century. Okay? So it needs to be said, though, that within this whole idea of vegan, that Rasta people have been promoting these concepts for a very, very long time. Okay? And they would call it Ital. So they promoted the whole concept of eating Ital for health. and recognizing that what we eat is how our bodies would operate, would affect how our bodies would function. Okay, you are what you eat. Within Ital also, you had the compassionate argument, because Rasta people, Rastafari, believe in life over death. So they don't believe, for example, in being close to dead things and being around dead things. And so within a Rasta Ital lifestyle, or what we call liberty, that part of the vegan consideration would also be there. And the environmental aspect, as I said, well, Ital refers to vital, but it also relates to living naturally. And Rasta people believe in living off of the earth, living as close to nature as possible. Of course, within the 21st century, within modern society, we all have our limitations of how that happens. But that is a core fundamental consideration that the elders within Rastafari took up. In fact, many of them moved out of the city and moved into the mountains, or moved into the country, or into nature as much as possible, particularly in Jamaica, where they moved up into the hills, following that traditional African-based lifestyle. Okay? So the aim of this video, remember, is to show you that vegan and the plant-based diet is an important and powerful movement that is taking place right now in 2019. Many people are moving that way. But for those young people who are looking into Rastafari, I want you to understand that the concept of Ital goes way beyond what is normally considered in the vegan lifestyle, because people look at vegan lifestyles for various different things. Ital comprises all of those considerations and even more. The last thing that it comprises that might not be within people who are vegans is that there's a spiritual component of being Ital. Okay? It's the one of connecting not just with the food that you eat from a compassionate level, but from a spiritual level, and understanding that what we put in our body not only affects us physically, but also affects us mentally and spiritually. Now, how is this directly shown within Rastafari Ital living? So, for example, during certain times of possibly, depending on how strict people look at it, during certain times of the month, women may refrain from cooking for her family. She might be going through her cycle, and so she might separate herself, and because she wants to spiritually deal with her cycle during that time. And so Rastafari Ital looks at that as spiritual, as a spiritual mechanism. Also, for example, when utensils and different implements are used to cook things that are not Ital, the Rastafari people tend to refrain from that, even if they were washed and all those sorts of things. Rastafari within Ital say, no, we need to refrain from that, because they recognize that there is a spiritual component that comes along with the Ital way of living. So this is an important topic, okay? Yes, Ital comprises veganism, but vegan and Ital are not necessarily the same thing, okay? So this is Dr. David Roots, the Roots Chemist, just coming to you again with another reasoning, another teaching on natural living, on being close to nature, and in this case on Rastafari. Give thanks.